Welcome to Where There's Wills.
There's play.
I'm Ian, your make a bugsy casual gamer,
I'm Stacey. I'm your non-gamer gamer.
and today we're here to bring you an initial impressions review of Nocturne by Flatout Games, brought to you by David Iezzi. Plays 1 to 4 players in 30 to 45 minutes. Let's get a little overview of the game and then jump into the theme. In Nocturne, you play as a fox mystic, casting magical spells to collect an assortment of enchanted items. You compete against rival mystics, each of you deciding when to cast the most powerful spells to secure the best collection. Each turn you decide which items are most valuable to you and when to hold other mystics back. All right. So the theme of this, you're playing as mystics, trying to collect different things, and um, trying to make sure you do your stuff in the best way in order to get the best sets and different items, while also trying to hold the other mystics back. What do you think about the theme in this one?
Uh, the theme holds true to what they're trying to accomplish, I believe. It uses magical eggs. It uses mushrooms for some reason. Everything mystical has to include mushrooms, so that's included. It's got magical feathers that are included. So I think the theme resonates through everything that they've done with the game.
Yeah, I think the idea of casting spells to outdo your opponents and to get the items that you really want does come through, and it comes through in a kind of a unique way with the way that you are casting your spells and almost bidding for tiles, but you're not bidding for the same tiles. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. So I think the theme comes through pretty well. The Fox Mystics will show you cards that have them on them. Um, I mean, it could be any animal, but these are really well drawn mystics. The items that you're getting, the spells, I like all that. So I think the theme comes through pretty well in
Yeah.
this one. All right, components of the game. Components are not a whole lot. You have some cards here, which we'll show you a little bit, which are your Fox Mystics. Oversized cards with a two-sided artwork on them. You have some tokens. Now, this is the deluxe Kickstarter version, so these are upgraded tokens. So you can see, like, you have these nice, like,
That's not going to show
oh,
up.
I picked a green one. That's not going to show up on the green screen. That looked really. So you have these nice thick tokens. That's your past tokens, which we'll talk about later. In different colors. You have some tiles. Oh, that one's not going to show up. Here, let me just grab this one. You have some nice tiles. Good thickness tile. Um, you have several decks of these smaller cards. We'll kind of show them a little closer later. All about this size. You have concoction cards. You have starting concoctions. You have twilight and moonlight reward cards, and then you have a board which we'll show you a little bit later, which is the forest sprite board. But that is pretty much the components of the game. They are good quality. The cards are
Hmm.
decent thickness. The few cards that you have. So yeah, so there's the components. Moving on to artwork, your favorite thing.
I do like the artwork in this. The cards, we'll start with the player position cards, are each themed for the color of tokens that you do get. So that's a good thing. The artwork on these cards is really, I don't know if these are actually hand done. I
The
don't.
Yes, so the artist is Beth Sobel,
Okay.
who is
Oh, that's
yes,
why.
this is
Okay.
Beth Sobel. So
That's
this
why.
is Beth Sobel art. So we'll just show you some
Yes.
of these. And now some of these are with the Kickstarter version. We did get there was a mini expansion, a midnight mini expansion. So I'm just going to show you some of these mystics, these fox mystics. So there's two for each color. Yeah, some of the stuff is going to wash out, unfortunately. But you can kind of see that. You can see the foxes at least. So there's going to be two for each color because we did get an extra set. And yeah, so
Looks
there's
like our dog, even though it's a
yeah, yeah,
fox.
yeah. And this one's really going to wash out because this is the green one. And here's the
That's
other
not
green
terrible.
one. And then if you give me the other orange one. So you can see just absolutely gorgeous artwork in these, but you would
Yeah,
expect that from
from Beth.
Beth. So
And then you've got the tiles that are set collection tiles that are themed very nicely. So all of the mushrooms have this mystical mushroomy air about them, I
Yeah.
guess you would
So you
say.
have mushroom tiles, you have skull tiles,
And then the egg tile.
firebird feathers.
Oh yeah, the
We'll try and get
feathers
these
are
up here.
magical looking. They have a glow
There's a little
coming
green
off
on the
of
set
them.
collection, which is why stuff is getting washed out. Then you have some ruin tiles, I believe they're called. Ancient rune stones. Treasure
The
chests.
treasure chest has magic coming out of it.
So the artwork on these is really, really nice.
Yeah.
There is a little sprite board, which their colors are blue and green, so it's going to wash some of the stuff off, but you can kind of see. Oh, it's not washing out as
That's
much as I
not
thought.
terrible. More
So you can kind
teal.
of see on that. We'll take these off of here. So yeah.
Yeah, so the artwork, I love the artwork. I like Beth's work anyway. I think I always compliment it when I do see it, which is in a lot of games that we do own and play. So that's a bonus. You know, it makes the game for me more enjoyable. If I like the artwork, then I tend to enjoy the game more. I'm one of those people. If the artwork sucks, I don't even want to play the game. So it is what it is in this one. I like it. It's simple, but yet it's very artistic.
Yeah, I like that. I love the look of this. It
Yeah.
does give you the feel of it being this magical
Mm-hmm.
world where
This one's my favorite
you're
flower.
trying to collect things. So it really does give you this magical feel, just the
Mm-hmm.
way it was all drawn. I do want to backtrack just real quick.
Oh,
Rule book and score pad for
oh yeah.
components. So I wanted to make sure I
Yeah,
mentioned
yeah.
those. They were sitting right here, and I totally forgot. But yeah, I love the artwork in this. I love how each thing like I mean, you got these, firebird feathers, and they're on fire. Like you can actually there's fire coming off of them and stuff, and the ancient rune stones. Just everything just is really really cool. The magic mushroom. I mean, they're like glowing. Things are glowing. It has that nice glow to, so it feels magical and mystical to you. So I really enjoy the artwork. And these character cards are um are just gorgeous, and they are asymmetric, so there's two sides to them. Uh, the picture on them is the exact same, but there's two sides. One side has abilities for advanced play and stuff. So yeah, that was the artwork. All right, moving on to setup. To set up the game, first of all, each player is going to take a character card. Like I said, they are two sided and do have an asymmetric ability on them. So you can choose to play that advanced version, which just gives you some extra little abilities and stuff, which I think is going to be an interesting thing to try. Each player will get their magical spell discs. So these are the magical spell discs right here that we showed you. They are numbered. There's an X on it for when you want to stop your turn. There's one, two, two threes, two fours, two fives, a six, a seven, and then your highest one, which is your star. Um, and those, depending on the player count, some of these get taken out. In a two-player game, you use all of them. I believe in a three-player game, you take out some of the doubles. In a four-player game, you take out more of the doubles. You place, each person gets dealt one of the starter concoction tiles, which is the purple back one. You can kind of see this. I've got it on here too. This purple backing that has like the Bunsen burners on it, the beakers on them. And this is going to give you something we'll talk about a little bit. Then you take the regular concoctions and you place them here. You take 16 of the tiles and you place them in a 4x4 grid for a two-player game. Three-player, I think it's 5x5, and five-player or four-player, I think it's 6x6. You take your four sprite board, you place it down here. You place four random tiles down here as well for four players. Three players, you get, or for two players, you'd add another one. Four players, you would put all six. You take three Twilight gold cards and deal them face up. You take three Moonlight gold cards and do them face down. And then those extra tokens, and I got those are the shadow spell tokens. You put the shadow spell tokens up here. These are numbered 5 through 10, and we'll talk about those in gameplay. You place all of your tiles in however many piles you want near the board, and that is the setup. So in Nocturne, you are, like we said, you are trying to gain different things. Um, so we talked about scoring in this as well. So each one of these different things has a different scoring with them. So like the and this will kind of help us when we talk about the gameplay. So like this, at the end of the game, depending on how many you have, you're going to score different points. If you have one of these, you get 2 points. If you have 3, you have 8. If you get 6 of them, you get 24. So depending on how many you have, it gives you different points. The mushrooms are looking for sets of the same type of mushroom. So one of these mushrooms gets you nothing, but if you get both of those mushrooms, both of those tiles, you get 2. This one's interesting. And yes, this is washing out here because it's a green background. So if you have one of these, you get 3. 2 of them, you get 0. But if you get all 3 of them, then you get 13. Because this was called the tryptifungalus mushroom. So it's, or tri, so you need 3 of them. So different things give you some different points. So what you're going to do is, starting with the first player, at the beginning of each round, this game is played over 2 rounds. You have the twilight round and you have the moonlight round. That is it. You may get all of these spells or these things for your spells. You may not. So what you're going to do is, starting with the first player, at the beginning of each round, in the beginning of each round only, the first player has to play their lowest token. This is basically your spell power. So let's say I'm just targeting something, or I don't want Stacey to get something. I'm just going to start here, and I'm going to put my 1 token here. Now, what Stacey has to do if she wants to play, she has to play on a thing, and on an item that is orthogonally adjacent to your tile. You have to do one item, and you have to basically cast a higher spell. So we could keep doing this. Let's say I really wanted something. I'm gonna maybe up the ante here, and I'm gonna jump up to a 5 here. Stacey has a chance of going 6, 7, or 8. She really wants this one, so she's going to go up to a 7. You don't have to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can jump up as much as you want. So I'm going to look at that, and I'm going to look at the stuff that's around her. And I've got rune stones. I've got a treasure chest, which gives me -1 point, but it does allow me to draw 3 tiles and keep 1. And I've got this mirror stone, which at the end of the game allows me to copy another tile. It's a little expensive for me. Oh, and I've also got this ancient runestone, which allows me to draw 3 more concoction cards and keep 1. It's a little expensive for me, so I'm going to pass. So I'm just going to place that and pass. So Stacey's going to take that tile, put it into her tableau, basically, and turn this one upside down. She cannot use that again. Now, these come back to us, but before they do, we can decide to put them on this 4 sprite board. And how this works is, at the end of the round, these are extra tiles. And so if Stacey puts her 2 there, she's going to start with a 2. Let's say I want to put my 5 here. Let's say there's a tile I really, really want here. And so I'm going to put my 5. So it bumps them down. If one of your tokens ever gets bumped off of here, then you it comes back in your hand and can be used. So now Stacey won a tile. She is the next player to go first. So she has to go on one of the spaces that is orthogonally adjacent. She's going to go there. I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go with this and with the 7. So Stacey can outbid me for one of these. She would have to use her extreme one. So we both got the same tile. So same thing. These come off. I'm not going to put one down there. So you just keep on doing that until people do not want to take in more tiles. So eventually you're going to have a lot of these gone. Now, there's a couple situations that may come up in a game. And let's say that this tile was gone and this tile was gone. And let's say I got this tile. Okay, let's say I won that tile. So I got this. It is my turn. I could go down here. And if I go down here, I know that I'm giving up like another turn. But I am guaranteeing myself this because Stacey can't outbid it. So I could put a really low tile on there to get 4 points. So I would take this, but because I cannot go where I can go orthogonally adjacent, the first player now, or the next turn, goes to Stacey, and she can actually start anywhere on the board she wants, whichever tile she wants to do. So you do that until everybody decides to pass, and then that is the end of the twilight round. Now, there are different goals up here. This goal says be the first to win a tile with a 4 spell. So if you used your 4 spell to win a tile, so I had one down here. So I would get that if I had won that with a 4 tile or with a 4 spell. These are end round goals. This is be the first in control an area of 3 or more spaces. So I have 3 spaces here, so that would go to me. Be the first to have 3 separate control areas. Neither of us have 3 separate control areas. If Stacey were to win this piece at some point, she now has 3 different control areas. A control area is defined as orthogonally connected spaces. So she has a space here. Let's just say that she had won that earlier. So she has a space here, she has a connected area here, and she has a connected space here. These are 3 different spaces. So that is where those would go. There are some cards that give you end round bonuses. So at the end of the round, whoever has the largest control area or the fewest control areas. So you were able to connect a lot of your stuff. Um, which I think that is the card we had during our game,
Yes,
and I think we read it wrong.
Oh.
So, because we thought that it was the fewest, not the smallest.
No.
So yeah, so you have some different cards. Now, at the end of the round, you are going to have, most of these tiles, if not all these tiles, are going to be gone, and you're going to have, all these tokens out here. You're going to have tokens down here. So, like, if I were to place a tile on here later, I have a 5 and Stacey has a 2. If I were to place a 2 down here, because it's smaller, I need to put it right there. If Stacey were to place the 4, she gets to slide these down and gets there. So at the end of the twilight phase, what happens is, in order of your tokens down here, you get to choose a card down here. So I would probably choose this. I mean, it doesn't matter right now. We don't have any sets or anything we're working on. I kind of picked those things up. So let's say Stacey had this in her hand already. So Stacey had this in her hand. She would definitely want to take the matching one because it gives her 9 points. And then you set up for the next phase. So the next phase, these all come back once you've done all of your scoring cards. These all come back. You flip over your moonlight goals. Oh, and then for every token you still had left. So let's say I had these 3 tokens left, and Stacey had a couple tokens left as well that she didn't use. What you're going to do is you're going to place them up here, and you're going to put them in order from smallest to biggest. So I got a 3, a 4, and a 7. Okay, so what's going to happen is, because I had the highest value here, that kind of gives you your tiebreaker. So what's going to happen here is, in order, we are going to then take tiles. Stacey's going to get the 9, I'm going to get the 8. And those are going to get added to your hand. Now, when you start the next round, you start by putting all of your things back in order. Including your new ones. And what you're going to do is, I got 3 of these midnight tokens. I'm going to take out my 3 smallest scoring tokens. So now my 1, my 2, and one of my 3s is gone, and I've got an extra 6, an 8, and a 10 that can be used. And Stacey's got some high ones as well. So now those can be used. And you redraw tiles into a grid to start the next round. Like I said, in a 2-player game, it is a 4x4 grid.
Oh, for crap.
And this whole time, you are collecting these, like I said, for sets and stuff. And we'll talk about scoring, endgame scoring here in just a little bit. And you'll repeat the same process. You'll go through the midnight phase, or the moonlight phase as the same, and you have some different goals. This is 2 points per leftover spell token, 2 points per corner space, so that you want to try and get the corner spaces. 1 point per space in the largest control area. So this is going to force you to try and get a very large control area. So that is the basics of the game. You're going to be scoring points during the game. You're going to be collecting these to get points kind of during the game. But the end game scoring is as simple as you're just looking at the different items. So the skulls have points on them. You just add those up. Then you have the firebird feathers, which we said, depending on how many you have, you get a progressive number of points. Then you have the mushrooms. Mushrooms are sets. So like this mushroom, if I have one of them, like I said, I get 3. If I have 3 of them, I get 13. But if I have 2 of them, I get 0. And then you have your herbs. Herbs score a little differently. So the herbs have a base score of them. So this one scores 1. And then what happens is for every unique herb you have, so this one has a D on them, this one has a B on it. For every unique one, if you have 3 unique ones, you get an extra 5 points. If you get 4 unique ones, you get an extra 8 points. So you get some extra points on those. And then you have your eggs. Eggs are a different sort of set collection. It's whoever has the most gets 4 points, second most gets 3 points, third most gets 2 points, fourth most gets 1 point. And then you are scoring if you have any of these
negative
cursed treasure chests because you took tiles, you have a -1 for each one of those. Now when you do take one of those, you take 3 tiles off of here, you choose which one you want, and the other 2 get discarded face up next to the board so people can kind of see what's been used. So it could be beneficial to you. You might get something you really like. Then you score your concoction cards. So concoction cards, let me see if I can find one that doesn't have green on it. Concoction cards, basically you need to get these symbols that are on tops of your tiles in order to fulfill your concoction. So I've got a mushroom, I've got an egg, and I need a skull, and I've got a skull. So there, this concoction will be filled. Each one of these symbols can only fulfill 1 concoction. Now, if you have a double skull, that can be used for 2 different concoctions. And then you're going to score whatever twilight goals and moonlight goals you have, and you get 2 points for every token you have remaining. So after you've played the moonlight phase and you have tokens here and here, if you have any tokens that you didn't use, you get 2 points for those. And then in the advanced version, if you did not use your character ability, so if I did not use the ability of my character here and it has not played, because this is a one-time use. Once you use this in the advanced mode, you flip it over. If I did not use that, I get some points there. You add up all your points and the person with the most points wins.
easy peasy.
Replayability.
You start with this one.
I think there's going to be a decent amount of replayability. I think the replayability in this is going to be very similar to any other Flatout game. Cascadia, Calico, Fit to Print. I thought there was one more. My mind is blanking.
One with the stones.
We got
is that
one.
AEG?
No. We got one more. I think we've got 5. But anyway, any of those, I think it's going to be very similar. It's because you have lots of different tiles. You have different scoring cards that are going to come out. You're going to be moving around differently. You're going to have different personal goal cards that are concoction cards, which you're trying to get. So all of these things combined, it's going to make it replayable because it's going to be a different. You're going to be doing different things now. If you're talking about replayability and the game's going to feel much different every time, the game, like I said, with any Flatout game, it's going to feel like you're playing the same game. But we like that. We like the familiarity because then you can kind of strategize a little differently. Also, if you build in the advanced rules with the character powers and stuff, that's going to add some different things because you're going to be doing different things. And there's in the deluxe version, there's 8. In the base game, there's 4 of them. So I think there's going to be, for us, I think there's going to be some good replayability with this. Just because these 16 tiles, and you got all these stacks of tiles, are not going to come out the same. The things you're going for are not going to be the same. The way you do things aren't going to be the same. The way you play just isn't going to be the same. So I think for us is going to be replayable. For others, just know that it is going to be the same sort of game that you're playing. You're just doing different things each time.
I agree with all of that. Um, it's a set collection game, so it's not like there's 100 different things that you can collect. It's a variety of things that you can collect, but there's not a whole lot of different things that you can collect. So you've got that. The tiles make it so that you can play different. Like Ian said, everything comes out differently each time that you play it. So that gives a little bit of diversity right there. And then using the power card, we haven't done that yet. So we'll have to play that and see how that does change the game, if it does change it at all. But yeah, for us, we don't like the change of the game. It's easier to learn if it's just the same game, just different ways that things come up. It helps us to strategize a little bit better and get those points. Now, adding up the score at the end, I was lost. I do it in order of how it is on the score pad, and that'll help you. But anyway, that doesn't have to do with replayability at this moment. Um, for us, I think it will have a lot of replayability.
Especially with our collection, like we'll get it
Yeah,
out, play a few times, and then next time, okay, yeah, oh, that's right.
yeah.
This is what it is.
We'll
Yeah,
have to read the rules again next time we get it out and remember how to play it. But to us, it's a new game each time.
yeah. I think this is one that, like any flat out game, is going to be um is going to be pretty inherent as to what you're doing. Like you're bidding. Okay, I'm bidding. First person starts with the lowest one each round, and then
Mm-hmm.
when you do start over, so he gave that example where, like, if you were trapped in the corner, it can be anything. You don't have to start with your lowest one after that. And just what are you gonna do? Like, I look at this and go, oh, can I try and get a lot of these herbs, because there's a lot of different herbs I can get a lot of extra points, and just the different things. So, like, some of them are just points, some of them copy things, some of them are set collecting, some are set collecting in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So just what items you're going to be going for of all these different items. Am I going to try and get these rune stones? They don't score me a whole lot of points, but they do get me these. But they also, I mean, like, I need to make sure I can fulfill these. Like, if I start
Yep.
drawing a lot of these, doesn't help me. Do I risk the -1 point to get more tiles into my tableau? So yeah, I
And
think for us it's gonna be some decent replayability.
yeah, and to get your concoction cards filled, some of these have only one um, item on it. Some of them have two. So that'll help with the replayability as well.
Yep, yeah, for sure.
Trying to get those cards concocted.
Exactly. All right, moving on. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I do like this game. I was a little, as a lot of AEG games, I was a little overwhelmed at first, but then once I got to playing and figured out what I was supposed to be doing, it came a lot easier to me. The one thing that I do wish that they did is these tiles are really hard to mix and to shuffle, as
Yeah,
with any
any
tile
tiles, any
game
tiles.
like this. I wish it had given like a bag or something that you could have shook them up in to make it a little bit easier. We ended up putting them in the box lid and kind of just gently
I think
moving them around.
that's a common thing, because we
Yeah.
say the same thing with Calico, and I know you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to have, like, the bags, but, like, they put, at least Calico has the bag for them, but,
Yeah.
like, Cascadia only has the bag for the tokens. It'd be nice to have a bag for that. Like, these, it would just be nice to have these in a bag so you can just kind of ruffle through them,
Mm-hmm.
instead of, I mean, they're not the easiest thing to shuffle and mix up, and
And there's so many, which
yeah,
is a good thing that
yes,
there's so many,
yes.
but it's
So
really hard to get them mixed up.
I would like something that you can draw out of, as
Mm-hmm.
well. It would be nice just to have a canvas bag. Maybe we can look for one somewhere.
I can make
Um,
us one.
yeah, but a canvas one would be nice.
And then the other thing that I wish that they could have improved on is the main board is kind of flimsy, but that's the only flimsy thing in
Yeah,
there in the game. Everything else is really well made.
yeah. I guess we should talk about that in components. This was on the table though. Yeah, it would have been nice, especially with it being the deluxe version. Everything else, it would have been nice if this was the same thickness as
Hmm.
this, because this is I mean, you can see it's waving if you do that. So, yeah. But other than that, I really enjoy this game. It's this whole idea of bidding, but you're bidding on the next
Yeah.
thing with your magical spells. And then when you win one, when you start your next one, you have to start next to it. And then you can choose to put some down below because there was when we played, I saw I saw that the two mushrooms that needed to go together, that if you had one of them you had 0 points, but if you had two of them you had 9 points. One was on the board and one was on the this board here. One was in your grid and one was on the board. So I went, okay, I need to make sure. And it was in the second round, and I had not played the first round. I had forgotten about the midnight tiles, and Stacey had like three really high scoring or point value ones. So I had to make sure that I got those things all on the grid, especially once I was able to get, because I had the first mushroom in the first round, and I was just hoping it came out. Now that's not always going to happen, and it did. So I had to make sure Stacey got all of her high tokens out there, but I also had to make sure that I had a big enough token that I didn't win with, so that I could be in first place here because I needed I needed that tile for 9 points. So there's
Strategy.
there's some strategy. But no, I think this one is going to be another one that is going to be a fun one to get out every so often. It'll kind of break up some things, but it plays different, and we kind of like that. We're as we're looking at games, and just the whole bidding part and bidding for the next thing, but then you're set collecting, or you're like, oh, this one's not going to give me any points, but it could give me something that gives me lots of points, or it could give me some extra tiles or some extra cards. I may lose some points. So yeah, I like this one. It was another hit from Flatout. I don't think there's been a miss in their big box or in their main boxes from us with Cascadia Calico. Um, Oh, Verdant. Verdant's the other one I was thinking about. Verdant, the plant one. So Verdant, Cascadia Calico, Verdant, um, Fit to Print, Nocturne, uh, their Knitting Circle uh, comes out soon. The Kickstarter, I believe, comes out soon. And then they just announced a new Cascadia, which is not an expansion. It's a standalone game, kind of like Knitting Circle is the Calico, and it has double hex tiles, and you can actually stack to kind of actually make layers. That looks really fun. So yeah, this one is another hit for us. It's a good game. Yeah, we really like this one.
I like it.
There you have it. Let us know if you've played Nocturne and what you think of it. And yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe. It means so much to the channel. Once again, this has been Where There's Wills.
There's a play.
I'm Ian.
I'm Stacey.
And we'll see you next time.
At the table.